This
Morning.
conference will now be recorded.
Last week, I'm sure we stopped at looking at a particular matter that was told to us about someone who has had maybe two children earlier, and whose
Trying
life
so
has
hard
been
to bring everything
if
on
the
board.
person tries to become pregnant again as a result of multiple operations and all that. So that's the issue we want to look at. Would you advise such person to abort? What's our standpoint about abortion, especially when life is at stake? Hello? Hello, are we still together?
Yes, we are together.
Hello, yes.
Okay. So that's the that's one of
Yeah.
the matters we have on our table to discuss today. So please let's hear your views on this. The person has had operation twice, and the doctor has said that please don't get pregnant any longer, because if you try to, another operation might claim your life, and now the person is pregnant. What should the person do?
In my own opinion, I think it should still boil down to the personal values of such person, especially the person's philosophy towards abortion in the first place. If the person had this philosophy of abortion being harmless, I'm sure that person will go ahead and abort it. But if that person goes beyond philosophy into spirituality and thinks that abortion is a sin, maybe a very wrong thing to do, I think it's left to that person to ask that spirit she believes in, maybe along with the husband, to help them. Like the story I had Pastor Deboe said one time when he was told that his wife must not get pregnant again, otherwise she will lose her life after a series of abortion. And he shared the testimony of how it became a miracle. So in this situation, that man, we know that his own is beyond philosophy. He's a man of spirit or faith. So he spoke with the spirit he has been, worshiping or serving, and that spirit did something. Otherwise, not if not on the grounds of spirituality or faith or religion, I'm sure that there's nothing wrong with it medically to undertake abortion, except of course when there is a spiritual rule that says thou shalt not kill, and when people try to extend this rule to mean that even the fetus who is yet unborn is also a life that you cannot take. So it boils down to personal interpretation and the level of spirituality of that person. Otherwise, you save the life that is on ground, and not try to save the life that you have not met. I mean, the photos. So it's it's personal
Okay, thank you,
to
Mr.
certain.
Gibson.
I
Thank
can
you
hear you
very
now.
much.
Thank you.
Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to have
I've been listening to Mr. Dix. I've been listening to everybody. Thank you. I've been pastor like 2 minutes ago, so I just say let me chill. Let our pastor and our reverend ministers finish the talking.
we are
Good,
glad.
good one. Just a technical issue over there. Thank you. We solve it. Okay, last week we are talking about someone raised a question at 9 minutes. He said we should talk about everything. We're looking at what are the everything we want to talk about. And I think we are talking about abortion right now, Abi?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
abortion. So what's the take on abortion? There are so many reasons for people to. Okay, I raised a question last week. Let me come from that question. Let's see whether it's valid maybe as a Christian or as a religious person. And I said maybe someone said say if you already have a CS, maybe doctor say you should not have
We have no medical issue whereby the doctor will say after 3 years, you should not be pregnant again. If not, you might lose your life, or it's 50-50. And by mistake, you are now pregnant. What should that person do in that case? What do you think the person can do in that aspect? So,
Like I said the other time, Black Moses,
or okay,
if
go ahead.
on secular ground, I mean, scientifically speaking, there's nothing wrong if that pregnancy is going to be a threat to our life, to go and terminate it. I mean, to go and abort it. All right. This is the world that humans know. Science, we use it to manage our physical life. So going by that, I tell you 100, there's nothing wrong with it. But then if there's someone coming from the spiritual, religious standpoint, saying that it is a sin or it is wrong to do so, if you want me to believe in, to go by that word, then that spirit must advise me on what to do. Because for me, within my circle of influence, I know the next thing for me is to remove this pregnancy before it, terminates my life. So this is my decision. But then if there is a spirit that is giving me a rule not to do such thing, and this pregnancy is not out of wedlock, then I need to talk to this spirit, like advise me what should I do. This is my own position.
You are trying to be a politician, girl. You use the word
Why? How?
terminate. You use the word terminate. Okay, okay. Are you going to advise the person to terminate, or I don't understand? Now, this is very risky to our life. Well, don't, I don't want us to, okay, look it from any angle, maybe from spiritual aspect or circular aspect. What will you advise the person to do?
Personally, I would advise the person if it's a threat to our life. I mean, it's up to you. I give her two options. Like whenever you're advising people, you don't tell them directly that this is what you should go and do, because at the end of the day, they are going to revert it to you. So you give them options. Very beautiful two options. Try, I mean, as much as possible to streamline it to two or three, maximum three options, and let them be the last decider at all times. So I don't give people straight advice. I give them options, and that's what I would do.
Hmm. That's why I say, I mean, you're politics. Okay, okay. Let's hear you. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I think I also uphold what Mr. Dixon has said. The only aspect I look at it is that life in itself is a risk, and
Hmm.
the person may now want to take the risk that, well, I don't want to terminate a life that's, an innocent life, and I want to take a risk. And at least I know that there are some people that have actually stepped out that way and they came out with the testimony. The life of the people saved, the life of the mother saved. And there were actually people that did not even have any medical report that, well, if you do this, this will happen to you. And yet, in the course of giving birth to their child, they lost their lives. They also lost the baby. So it's a question of whether you want to take risk or you want to suit yourself. And in this case, I think from the medical aspect, the doctors might want to counsel and try to save the living first. You understand? That is what a doctor would do. But since we are not doctors, we can only advise. And it's it's always good when you're giving advice to people that you don't try to legalize anything. Just let them be able to take their decision based on the different alternatives that they have. And I think that is my own standpoint. Thank you.
Hmm. Okay, you're welcome. Ayeni Olubukola, I have anything to say? Let's hear it before we move on to another question. Okay.
My own conclusion is that looking at it spiritually, if the person is spiritual, or if you think the person thinks she's born again, because like me, if I was advise such person, I will first ask, if you know you are not genuinely born again, it's better you who commit the sin, evacuate it so that it will not take your life based on the doctor's advice. But if you know you are genuinely born again and your faith can carry it, you can leave it having faith in God and hoping that God will help you to escape through. Because some people that claim to be Christians, they are not genuinely born again. Their secret life is as bad as anything. But they will be saying it's wrong. Abortion is a sin. And meanwhile, their hands are full of sin. So it's better if the person is in such category, it's better you cuckoo sin, evacuate it and save your life. That's my own view.
Now I'm hearing another topic that from that your from what
Before you
what did you
crown
mean
it,
by
before you crown it, Black Moses,
okay?
she said something about if it's a sin, and I like that aspect because in the first place, we should be able to clarify: is abortion a sin or not? So abortion in humans world without the influence of any spirit, maybe spirit above or spirit below, abortion is not a sin in humans world. So it becomes a sin for those who have a spiritual rule from God, because it is only God that can call something a sin. If you offend, maybe if you go against the rules of your principal or even Satan, it is not a sin. It is when you go against the rules of God that you commit a sin. So now,
Yes.
if the person in question does not believe in God or accept His rules, going for
Yes.
abortion might not be a sin. I mean, on personal ground, because in human world, this thing is a threat to my life. I need to remove it.
Yeah.
But then we need to be sure if this person is someone who accepts the rules of God. But well, we might ask that: do you want to consider the rules of God, or talk to God about this, or you just do what humans should do, like impulse, respond to impulse? This is a threat to your life. Remove it. So
Yeah. That's it.
Hello.
Okay.
Please, I have to say,
Okay. I'm with you.
I want to add this. We in this case, we cannot actually say the person is going out to sin willfully, because the person is actually operating at as a result of the counsel that he or she has received. And the truth is that the medical doctors, or in the medical profession, they try as much as possible to um, prevent unfortunate happenings. They try to prevent unfortunate happenings, not because they are certain that this is exactly what will happen. And that is why I use the word taking risk. Anyone, be it a Christian or not, or you're a Muslim or not, whatever faith you confess or you profess, if we put that aside and you look at it as an individual, you want to look at it with a business mind, you will be talking about somebody taking a risk or not wanting to dare to take the risk. It's just like in business. If you have a business idea and somebody told you that, hey, this thing is not going to work, that is the same situation that the person is telling you, if you get pregnant again, sorry, your life is in for it. And you're saying, no, this is an idea that I have conceived and I want to give birth to it and see what happens afterward. Then the person goes ahead. And if the person feels afraid and the person chickens out and says, hey, I don't want to jump into this because of what has been said, that is not wanting to take a risk. And that is the aspect I want us to consider this matter from. Because if we look at it and just peg it to spiritual. What about people that are not spiritual? How do they get out of situations like this? There are some that will say, well, the life of the unborn child is so important to me and I want to see the child live. And they say, okay, I put my my life on the line for this baby because it's actually my responsibility. I take responsibility for it. And both of them agree, not because they are spiritual or anything, and they go. It's possible that they come out smiling and victorious at the end. It's also possible that at the end, it may not speak well. So it's a question of daring something, even in the face of whatever thing that has been said earlier. Thank you.
Okay, thank
I
you.
like that. Really good. I
I
like that.
I like that too. But I want you to. There is another part where Mr. Dixon says something, and I want us to clarify. Maybe I'm the one that is confused here. He said, "In a woman's world," or maybe it's Mrs. Olubuka that said that if you're in woman's world, there's something that it might not be sin to you, but in God's world, in God's rule, it is sin. So how are you going to define? I don't think a woman should have a rule. I think it's God's rule that all of us are living. So we should all
Mhm.
abide by His rule. So when you're saying woman's world, that means I can do and undo because I don't believe I don't
No,
or I don't
no,
know
no.
God or I don't believe in His rule.
In that one, it's not all humans that live by God's rules, and God is not forcing His rules on anyone. Look at the history. Look at, I mean, from the beginning. Just look at the history. Study along lines of spirituality and faith in the world. Study along lines of governments, of people, of great lords and warriors. It is not God's rules that the world follow. You look at the government. Look at even the UK. They are removing Bible from their school curriculum. So it's humans wants to rule themselves and they've been ruling themselves. So there are human rules, there are scientific rules. These things are certain. So if there is anyone who is willing to take up God's rule, is there, and that's why the Bible says in, I cannot remember precisely, forgive me. I read Proverbs most times. So, but I remember that there was a place where Jesus said that he's at the door, knocking at the door of our heart. If you hear him and open the door, we come in. So in that place, I see democracy. I see him asking for your will. I see him asking for your consent. So it's not a force. It's not important that it's not a force that everyone goes obeys God's rule or even accept it and obeys it. So we have our own rules. Human have the rules. Science has its own rules, which are certain. So in the end of the day, you choose which one you want to do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
everybody
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, somebody raised the question before all of us entered the room this morning. He said, what will you advise for couple? Will you advise couple to have a joint account? Yes or no? And what are the implications? The answer is yes. Was why? If the answer is no, why? The person is listening. Her name is Ayoli. She asked the question earlier. We advise couple to have joint accounts. Why?
Start off.
And the reason.
Okay.
Go for
Let me jump into this one.
it. Okay, I drop.
Yes
I know
and no.
women will like this one.
Yes and then no.
Uh-uh. Yes
Okay.
and no. Okay.
Okay. If you have a level of trust for your spouse, yes. If not, no. Because having
Wait,
joint
wait.
account.
Let me cut you there. Let me cut you there, Mrs. Bukola. Before you go on, before I lost this question, I don't want to lose this question. He said, if you have a level of trust, why will you be in a relationship? Why do you even marry someone you don't trust in the first place? Oh, you are gone.
No, trust are in phases and in levels.
Okay.
And generally, to be sincere, there are people that, well, you trust them in with so many things except money. because money has a way
Okay.
it divides. Money has a way it brings divide when people are not mature about it. But if you are fortunate to have someone who can manage that and who is not under any threat when money matters are mentioned, then fine. In my home, for instance, I have a personal account, my husband does, but we spend together. So that's why I said yes. No, because
Okay.
there are
You
certain
have joint
families.
accounts?
We don't have a joint account. We have different accounts, but we spend our money together. We decide on what we want to do with it.
Okay.
Do you understand me?
Yes, I do. I do.
Even though we have not opened one that has our names together on it, we are still planning for that. But right now, we spend our money together.
Okay.
So that's why I said yes. And sometimes no, because the woman wants to satisfy her own self and wants to be the one to lord over her money and whatever she has. And the man too wants to be able to do the same thing. So that way, because there is no agreement, they cannot operate the same account because they each have goals, personal goals that they are pursuing. So that way, it is no. When you have such lights, you don't even dare it.
I,
Okay.
I, I like that one too.
Mm.
And I may
I
also
can.
contribute.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The issue of joint account, let me give you a realistic example. Or it's not realistic because it's not the truth. Dangote does not have one wife. But imagine if Dangote had one wife, do you think he is running the same account with his wife, or Tony Elumelu, or even Alakija? I'm not sure, I'm not certain, would run a joint account with her husband. So when your billions, let me call it that name, when your billions become fat, you know, there are certain level of sleeplessness that you experience, and you don't know for sure what the woman or the man can do to claim. See what happens in UK, in US, whereby the spouse just come because they know the worth of their husband or their wife, and they just make magnanimous claim. So I believe that the level of trust, which is in phases and in levels, as Ms. Bukola said, is valid. I mean, it's true. You have to know who you are in with. But from the elementary stage, I think family finance is very important. You know, I'm a financial person, so I can tell you for sure that family finance is good. But then the wife can have a separate account, the husband can have a separate account. Then you can have a joint account. Now, what do you do with the joint account? This is just a financial advice anyway. What you do with the joint account is you decide your responsibilities. I mean, what are the things you want to do? You want to pay school fees, you want to pay your bills like security bills, NEPA bills, buy fuel, or your solar servicing, all these chores, the responsibilities, and then you decide on your family vision, I mean, collective vision. There's nothing wrong when you become married to share your visions together. Like me, I want to become a tailor, a London tailor, and you have been a barber before we got married. You have a vision. So let us see how we can integrate these things into something so that we can move together, move along. So if you have this corporate goal, you can also fraction your money in this joint account, one for responsibility, the other one for corporate goals, and then you come up with your commitment like, Mr. Man, Mrs. Woman, this is the amount you need to bring into this joint account weekly or monthly for running these responsibilities and for nothing our corporate goals. So in this case, I think joint account makes sense, but putting all of our wealth together in the same place, no, you need some privacy with your money, you need some change in your bank account. Okay, you need some pocket money. So you can't bring all your wealth together with a woman, or the woman bringing out all our wealth together with a man. At some level there may be abuse, there may be an abuse. So to prevent these things, define why you need collective accounts, and then run things together.
Okay, I think. Okay, okay, go ahead. Okay.
What I will say concerning that is, me, I will say no, because before couple can run a joint account, the level of their trust and understanding must have gotten to a certain level, a certain point
You say no.
before, yes,
Okay.
operating a joint account. Because before couple can do that, their level of understanding and but the level of understanding and I said something I've forgotten. Must have gotten to a certain their trust, understanding and trust must have gotten to a certain point because let's say for instance, I'm a person that likes to give. I like to help people, and let's assume my husband doesn't really like that. Maybe he's a stingy man or something. If you run joint account and every day I keep saying I want to remove money, I want to do this, I want to do this, it will not be pleasant to him, and thereby it will cause problem in the family. So I will say it's good to operate separate accounts, but you can later have a, a joint account that you can just be keeping money, maybe save for future purpose or some other things. Because even considering the family, the both families, the extended family, your family I may not have people that troubles me for anything. My husband may have people that troubles him for money, even from the extended family. So he would like to settle them.
I've been
And
waiting to hear that.
pardon?
I said I've been waiting to hear about extended family since.
Yes, so
Yeah,
good point.
yeah. That's a tough family. So the husband will want to settle them. And if you stop him from doing that, you become a bad wife. So you can't even stop your husband from helping the family because he has been with them for a very long time. If they have not raised him, as a wife, as a woman, I won't be able to marry him. So I have to support that. So if he has his own personal account of which he settles them even without telling me, if you wish to tell me, I agree. If you don't tell me, no problem. Have my own account. We may later have joint one that will save money for future purpose. Maybe you want to do some things. So that's my own view.
I think I'm having fun here this out this morning, and I've been waiting for that extended family issue to come up. And this is what I learned over the years. Let me just stop it. And anybody have anything against it or for it, let me hear. I think for me, like Dixon said, if you have a joint account, it must be for a purpose, Mrs. Ayen. I think it
Yes,
must be for a purpose. So I don't think
yes,
my family are coming for help for my side. I should go and put hand into that pocket. I think, yeah, if I want to put hand into that pocket, of course my wife should know. Of course, it's going to be a signatory to the account, and we are going
yes.
to both agree on it that okay, let's give this person this money. And if she said no, and you know we have to see compromise and say okay, let's
Because,
look at it on the way. And
because
she
I
said
have
no, you have your own private account too.
I have someone that runs joint accounts, that they have joint accounts. Each time the husband wants to settle the extended family, he will persuade the wife, and the wife will comply. But when it comes to the turn of the woman, the man keeps saying, I don't like all this, I don't do this one. He starts complaining. So that's why
Exactly.
because they
Those
are
things
all,
are real.
that's why I
So
said I will know.
Exactly.
what I
It's
want
so
to
real.
advise.
What you
Yes,
said
I
is
know I
real,
know it
and
happen.
uh, I think
Yeah,
the
I know it happen in some
maybe my network is scrambling. Hello, I'm out.
family like that. Like there should be an agreement. Of course, two of us cannot be having the same salary every month. I might be bringing 50,000. She might be bringing 100,000, or vice versa. I'm sure we can't be bringing 100,000 to their same account every month. Or sometimes it might not be every month. It can just be weekly or anytime you have money. But what in that case, I think what the woman or the husband should do is then put the money in your own private account. The one you can go away with, put it in the joint account. And I think looking from the person that asked this question, I can
Exactly.
get sense that it's from like Nigerian setting. Nigerian setting, whereby when we are growing up, we watch all these movies, whereby maybe in Igbo land, it happened in Igbo land that was because most of the time we find out that well in our Nigerian movie, they make us that the Igbo young guy did rituals, all those things. So under 3 years, the guy don't build a house, has all these things, and when the guy died, the family of the husband will just come and kick out the wife and say it's our son's money, it's our son's money, oh, go away, go away. And the wife will now be roaming about the street with the children because they don't have a joint account. Even when you're having a joint account, I think I advised someone maybe recently, I say, okay, if you want to have a joint account, what you should do to your wife is this, because of extended family. It's probably, and what I've learned from my mentors, I think you probably have your wife's middle name, his father's name.
Mm-hmm.
If,
Okay.
while you're having the joint account, like if my son name is Moses, I'm marrying a wife that her name is as her father's name is Joseph. I think when we want to have that joint account, I think the wife name should be like that. Maybe Bukola Joseph. Don't use Bukola Moses. So when anything happens to the other party, when the family now dies, okay, you want to take the share of your son, take it. Now, this is my own share too. There will be 50-50. So the other person will not lose in this case.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
and I think
that's
it happens too. Even when you are building a house, because when we watch most of this movie, and we know it happens in real life, when the husband dies or the wife dies, they say, yeah, leave the house, now our son get the house. So by the time you are bringing out the house receipt and they see your name, your father's name with your name, maybe you're building a mansion, maybe you have a 10 rooms there. So they will not be able to kick you out of the whole house. Then they will leave the 5 rooms for you and take the 5 rooms because it's legal, it's guided by law. Because if you are bearing their son name on that paper, they will start, it's our son now, still our name. So they still have power to kick you out when it comes to that. And when it comes to the issue of I can help my own family with joint account. And when it comes to your home, I will say no. Then that means what you should be bringing to the joint account, we have to reduce. So that when your family calls on you, then that means secretly you have to, because that means your husband or wife is not misbehaving. Then that means you have to push to help your family from your own private account. When that start coming in, I don't think maybe I'm making sense or anybody is supporting me.
About that, I like.
what you said is not bad. I mean, including the maiden name of your wife in properties, it's
I'm
good.
dropping the
But
mic.
what if you have okay? What if you have the properties before you marry the woman? Do you want to start doing swearing affidavit to change name? I think the best way to protect your wife is to get a solid chamber law firm, not just one lawyer, because that lawyer may die before you. So go to a legal firm with employees, like a firm, a company that will outlive you and protect your wife. But then you don't let your wife or your child know about your will. So you prepare that will and make sure that it is duly enforced, just to protect your wife when, well, God forbid, if you die, untimely, then your wife is protected to carry on with your properties or any other beneficiary you may want to add on the list. So writing your will is as important as the first day you get married, you should start thinking about putting up your will. Because if you're still single, of course, they'll just give everything to your parents. And when you get married, it's not that you're writing your death sentence. It's just a normal thing to do. Protect your wife, put up your will with a legal firm. Yeah.
Will, the will is another level. What if you did not finish writing your will on time?
How many things you get where you want to use only 10 years they write? You can write, it's just your
No,
properties, property allocation. So
please,
it's
can I
property
chip in,
allocation.
please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I tried to also seek my husband's opinion on this, and he said it's good, but we should not capitalize on the account, as in
Hmm.
running joint account. it's not about the account, it's about the mind. It's about understanding,
Yeah.
it's about the ability to coordinate each other,
Resources. Yeah.
the ability for you to coordinate yourselves, and the ability for you to, discharge your duties appropriately. And would like to talk about, just chipping a little from the angle Black Moses came in. When it comes to family, most of the time, our men seem to create problems for us women because of the way they carry their wives in the midst of their family
How?
members. Okay, I'll cite an example. Your family, you have a family program to do, then you send your wife there 2 days, 3 days ahead to go and join the family to start cooking and preparing food when there are caterers on earth to handle those
Nonsense.
things. Already, you have given the room for somebody to belittle your wife as
Exactly.
a maid or something. Now, men that protect their wives, you attend your family programs as people that are attending to them, having done your own part, preparing
Financial.
the programs, and the same way to the woman. Now, when some of these things have been put in place, even when the family, if anything happens and the family tries to raise a kind of ugly head, they already know there will be people in the family that already know that, hey, even when this man was alive, all these things, they don't tell you when it comes to him. You better don't dare it. They will advise themselves. But when it is obvious that there were lapses even while the man was alive, of course, be sure that there will be lapses when the man um, turns around. Now, there are families today that are enjoying the legacy that that their husbands left behind, or their father, because it was a good legacy. And there are also some extended families that already have eyes inside their wealth, and somehow we're just noticing the day that this one will cross. And let's now, when you know that you have such family, of course you would have fortified your own family you before any that, so that whether you keep if you are going to keep a joint account on at any level, make sure that individuals have their own personal accounts, and whatever makes you to keep a joint account will
Definitely.
just be for sorting out certain public things. When you buy things or you do anything that has to do with the family, it's good it comes in the names of the husband and the wife. You discover that it's not just about Mr. So. If you write Mr. So, you are still saying that, well, the property belongs to you. But when it is Mr. and Mrs., they know that the man is not Mr. and Mrs. all by himself. So any property that carries Mr. and Mrs. Lagbaja, it is their joint property. If it is a house, how you now want to divide the house into two and then carry one that belongs to the man and drop
And
the other one that belongs to their own head?
that's why I say if you're having that joint account, don't kuku use Mr. and Mrs. Kuku use your name, your father's name. Like if you are Mary Joseph. Then
Yes.
don't use Mary Black Moses. Because Black Moses
Who
is my
did not?
own family name. Even if you
Okay.
are buying a car, if I think even you are even buying a car, like Mr. Dixon said, you don't know untimely death will happen. And we know some family member, their high they shoot your Range Rover. Once you die like this, that car they want to come and carry. So if you even buying a car, use the same. In fact, sometimes, even me personally, I don't even use my name buying my car. Sometimes you see my wife name on the car. It's better that way. If you like the level of trust, it's better that way. Because if anything happen, you see all these extended family. When you are talking of leg in Nigeria, when they just you and they do you.
Well, if I can add something more, the the issue of joint account, like
I
I
don't
have
think,
said,
and definitely you have an individual account. So before you even get married, you have an account. Okay.
yeah, okay. Am I on? I think my network is scrambling this morning.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, so about the joint account, like I have said earlier, if you want to open a joint account with your spouse, there should be an agreement for what you want to use that money for. And the most common thing in practice that you could need the money for is the family responsibilities and your corporate family goals. So anything outside that, like I said it the other time when Mrs. Bukola Yeni was saying that the husband might want to remove the money for family to settle extended family. These things are possible, and these are excesses, which should already been should have been checkmated from the first understanding before going on to open the account. So it's very simple. This it is men that can make this hard. For the women, they don't have problem, especially African men. They try to lord entirely over the woman. So the woman needs to ask questions like, if you are going to open a joint account, just ask questions that are really sensitive. Don't shy away from it, because when it starts, the man is going to start, taking the money, diverting the money for something that was not earlier intended. So let it be clear. What do we want to open this account for? Why do we need to run a joint account? Okay, so that we can have a collective purse to do this and that and finance our goals. All right, no problem. But then you are not going to keep in there, either of you are not going to keep in there all of your worth, all of your wealth. But as useful as possible, as much as you make, as much as you can let go, and according to your plans, you can start bringing the money there. And it's not a force. You are couples, for God's sake. So it's not that, Mrs. Ngozi, you have not deposited your money this month. Though. Me, say, I will not deposit next. No, it's not a thing to quarrel about. There should be mutual understanding. Just, it's just an extension of your love, extension of your relationship, doing that together. But then you must know for why you want to open a joint account, and you must understand that you are not bringing all of your wealth into it, so that at the end of the day, if you want to buy a palm sander or a singlet or an handkerchief for yourself, you go into your personal account and you do that. But something that concerns your responsibilities, like your children, their welfare and their school fees, and your corporate goals, or starting a business or expanding, then you can visit that joint account. There should be a clear agreement. I mean, just marry someone you can understand, and maybe things will be easier.
Hello?
Hello, yeah, can hear you.
Am I on? Okay. I support what Mr. Dixon said. Because you should not put mind on it. Because about this joint account issue, I've seen examples. But there was
Mm-hmm.
a time a counselor told me, said, if you want to run a joint account, everything you want to buy in the house, you must not even
Mm-hmm.
put Mr. and Mrs. If I want to Mr. and Mrs. Kayode Bukola, if the man decide to bring in another woman and her name
Mm-hmm.
is also Bukola, there's nothing you will do
Imagine,
about it.
that's
Bukola
risky.
is Bukola. So you use the father's name.
Wow.
So that so suppose that the counselor told the man
Yeah.
told us do that.
Mm-hmm.
Put the father's name.
Maiden's name. Use the maiden's name. Yeah.
Yes. That's it.
Very, very
You
good.
see where corruption has brought us to in the world.
Imagine. So we need to look for ways to check the
Look
corruption.
at the level
Otherwise, we'll
corruption
be
has brought us
victimized.
to.
Mhm.
And I think on the
So
whole, we should be prayerful and know what we stand for. When you know what you
yeah, it's
stand
good.
for, it
It's
makes
good.
life easier. And I think sometimes some of these are too much attachment to families. are the things that put us in problem. You want to belong to youth association of your village here and all over, whatever state you travel to, you just join compulsorily. And then they do family meetings in your house and all that, and all of those things. You know, if we tend to reduce our what would I call it? Our relations.
Involvements, financial
I'm not saying
obligations.
throw throw our families away, but please, it should not become a norm, as some people see it, that compulsorily I am responsible to my family. When you have, give to them. When you don't, let them know that you don't have it. And the moment certain things are established, I tend to feel that from the little I've seen, people who live that way have little or no issues with external families, as in with their families, whether from the male side or from the female side. So it helps,
Okay.
and
Thank you.
it
Thank you, Ms. Bukola. I want to drop another topic, and I want us to drive the topic to next week. But before I drop the topic, I want to use this medium to invite everybody on our Tuesday meeting, the leadership training, leadership meeting, business meeting as well. You know, we've been talking about joint account, business, and thereabout. I think this might help us next coming Tuesday. If you are listening to us everywhere, I know you should join us on Tuesday, 9 a.m. This same link. If you don't have the link yet, you can send an email to us at mtmakure@gmail.com. We will send you the link to be part of the meeting so that we can continue about business leadership
Not NTA.
and this.
I mean, someone who is hearing an audio, you need to clarify. Malta, Tango, Malta.
Okay.
MTN Akure, mtmakure@gmail.com. M for maximize. T,
Yeah.
T for
Okay,
what will I call it?
maximize the
T
moment.
for
T for
Tango.
maximize the moment.
maximize the moment. Or M for Madagascar. So that's why we are getting our COVID-19 vaccine for at
Before they start
gmail.com.
checking MTN
Yeah,
or Glow or Airtel Akure.
No, they're not going to send no, it's MTN, it's MTM. So I want to drop the topic for somebody said a religious. What do you have to say about religious barrier in marriage?
I don't
I'm
get
not
the
just talking, I'm
question.
not going to limit it to Christian or Muslim. Religious barrier
Okay.
in relationship, in getting married. I don't want to limit it to Muslim and Christian because I have a
Of course.
lady that I met in December. And our only problem was this guy is good, this guy has money, but the family are traditionalists.
Yeah.
So, and
traditional.
she's a Christian, but the guy is not, he's a Christian too. But the family, the baba, the mama, she's scared. So in that case, what can someone do?
That's a very big question, and it's really sensitive. It's a very big question. Religious barrier in relationship, after death, the most sensitive topic on this earth might be spirituality. So yeah, it happens every time. It's true.
You want us to keep the topic in view, right?
Yes, pick a
Hello.
view.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, Nicola.
Do you want us to talk about it now?
No, I mean, till next week is almost 10 o'clock, right?
Okay, sure.
And
Okay, let's push it to next week then. I think it's almost time, like 4 minutes to go. And I still have,
yeah,
let's put it in next week. Let's put it in next week. So Samson is just joining us. He's been having technical issues since 9 o'clock. A lot of you have been having technical issues. You know me, say if I get issue but we started this program. I think it's everywhere this morning. I don't know what's going on. Devil is a liar. Okay, let's write that down. Religious barrier for next week.
Want us to
For
upgrade
next
to 5?
week. Yeah. I can't hear you clearly.
I said they want us to upgrade to 5G.
They want 5G.
They want us to
Even the
upgrade
4G
to
we get here.
5G.
What you say? We never get
Nigeria.
power.
Even the 5G we have, 4G we
Good
have,
morning.
safe.
Even if it's slow.
Only
Um,
5G. Don't want God be helpful. Samson, we want to hear your voice. Hello.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry for joining late. I hope to do
yeah, good
better
Good
morning.
next time.
morning. Miss
Good
you.
morning.
Do
I hope we're all
better.
keeping safe.
Yeah.
Ayo, good morning. Please,
I
Samson,
hope
tell
we're
them
all
to
staying.
find in that your island. That island where you did.
They said what?
We miss you. We miss. I said, tell government to send 5G to that your island where you did there.
Well, whatever they want to do. Now
So
them
that
sabi, but it is well.
so that signal issue. Yeah, good to have you. You missed a lot this morning, but next week we would like to have you because, in fact, as a pastor, what we want to discuss next week concerns you and concerns everybody. So we'll be waiting for you to have it from your. We are talking of religious barrier for next week.
Religion barrier.
Religious
Yeah.
barrier. Yeah. Can a Christian marry a Babalawo family? Even though the guy is a Christian, but the lady is scared of going to that family. So that's what we're going to be starting from next week before we move to another topic. So I want to use this opportunity to thank everybody once again for joining us this morning. Mrs. Bukola, I see you. Like now, we have callers in the house. So I have to be calling
Yes,
Sonny
so
now.
we have
You see why
callers.
we should not have joint accounts. We cannot have joint accounts on this platform. One is Olu Bukola. Bukola. Oh. So Ayode, you too. Good morning, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Sampson, thank you for joining.
Good morning.
It was Ayode that asked me the question of joint account. So she's been listening since morning. So when you're getting married, so you can pick your advice. So anyone pick. If it backfire, don't come to this platform and say, now we advise you. You know, Mr. This is on top, say you are the one to choose.
Yeah, the one
Say
to
now
choose.
my hands are clean. I'm just a facilitator. I'm not the one giving advice.
There was we didn't give direct.
All right, thank you, everybody. Please join us again on Tuesday for business meeting. God bless you. Don't forget the email I mentioned, mtm
Okay, thank you.
gmail.com. Thank you. God bless you. I'm leaving now.
Thank you.
I will send the link to you later on to check us on your YouTube.
Thank you. Okay.
Please subscribe on the YouTube too. If you have
All
time,
right.
10:30 today, you can join. I want to interview one Nigerian musician. If you have time, you can just join in to listen. God bless you. Thank you. I'm leaving the house now. I'm hungry. I want to go and eat. Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Okay, bye.
Mrs. Bukola, Bukola Zekeri, Mrs. Bukola Yeni. No joint account too. Bye bye.
It's me, so.
No joint account too.
Yeah, bye. Have a nice day.
You too, everyone. Bye.